Your morning blitz begins now.
Get that chance. Go play for a national championship. We're going to swing as hard as we possibly can. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
On the Blitz.
2-2 to Torres. Bouncing ball towards the middle. Edman with a spin and a throw. And the Dodgers dominate Game 3. They're a win away from a world championship. A 3-0 series lead over the Yankees.
Yeah, did not go the Yankees' way, that's for sure.
Can they get swept?
Yeah, Judge didn't look too good.
Wait, where are we in the series? Dodgers?
LA took the first two in Los Angeles. Now they took the third one in New York last night.
Ouch.
They win tonight. They win the World Series. Sweep.
Yeah. Which I kind of hope they do, just because that means baseball will actually end in October for once.
That's true.
So there is that. But, yeah, it was a ugly first couple of games. New York had chances, just not hitting the ball.
Yeah, that grand slam in L.A. was insane.
I watched that happen, and I loved his bat flip, because it was arrogant but not arrogant.
Right.
Like, he hit it, and he got every bit of it. As soon as he hit it, you knew, and he just kind of held the bat up with his hand in the air and just let it drop perfectly straight down. Like, it was a impressive bat flip.
First walk-off grand slam in World Series history, right?
Yeah.
Man.
Impressive. Hey, you know what was not impressive? I don't know if you guys watched the World Series the other night. If you did, then you know this. If you didn't, you don't. Ice Cube came out in L.A., and the whole stadium knew every word of the song. Like, even the Yankees players were dancing along to it. It was great.
Oh, he was performing?
Yeah. And it worked really well. And then last night, New York kind of tried to do their own same thing with Fat Joe, who's now Skinny Joe. And you know what it was? It was like you see something in the mall and you buy the Etsy version of it.
Right.
And that's what you got. It just was not quite the same thing at all.
Well, our Buckeyes get our linebacker for the entire game, which we did not think would happen after he was ejected for targeting last Saturday.
Yeah.
That could have impacted the outcome of the game.
Yeah.
All right? It really ticks me off that every single human being who laid eyes on that knew it wasn't targeting, except the Big Ten officials.
Yeah. The NCAA came out and said, that was not targeting. He will not be suspended for the first half of the Penn State game. Arvell Reese is the player.
Yeah.
And, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, and this keeps happening to Ohio State. They keep getting players ejected for targeting, and I'm like, this is football, man. Am I not seeing the same thing that these officials... And they watched the replay during the game and still decided it was targeting.
How about, I don't know Jack, and I knew it wasn't targeting?
I mean,
that's not true.
Trying to keep the guy from catching the friggin' ball.
You knew that it wasn't targeting, so therefore you cannot say you did not know Jack. So you got to give yourself a little bit of credit there.
I mean, what's he supposed to do? Run up and say, "Oh, go ahead and catch the ball, man, and then I'll tackle you." So stupid. This is football.
Almost until they start playing in flag.
Stop it. I guess I haven't seen it, but somebody was telling me about a video online where they're playing flag football in all pads, helmet, everything, but they're playing flag football.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
That is the new thing.
No thanks.
But that's what they're leaning towards with all the concussions.
Well,
I wouldn't... Maybe not on the college level, but how long do you think we are until high school becomes flag football?
Well, if they do that in college and the pros, you'll be able to get into a game for $20 because nobody's going to want to go. I promise you that. I guarantee it. Nobody's going to care. There are flag football leagues now. They're not like selling out stadiums. Not going to happen.
Probably not. But this is the world that we are moving towards at 6:11 on a Tuesday morning. What's going on? It's Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, I'm Lewis. Thank you for waking up with us. We'll start your day with a little trivia. What do you got?
$25 to water beds and stuff if you're the first one to text in the correct answer at 99700. So there is a new movie coming out that mixes the story of Jesus Christ with mixed martial arts.
Yes.
And I watched the trailer. It looks fantastic. I just want to know the name of the movie. Tell us the name of the movie that's coming out.
Christ.
No, I'm telling you, it looks so great. But it mixes Jesus with mixed martial arts. What's the name of the movie? Be the first to tell us at 99700, and we'll give you that gift card.
It's the Red Hot Chili Peppers. baggage on the Morning Blitz. I wonder if Anthony Kiedis and his 20-year-old girlfriend were at the Dodger game the other night.
Is he a Dodger fan?
I think so. I think I've seen him there before. Suck My Kiss made me think of that. I don't know why, because that's probably creepy on some level, but it is what it is. It's 6:21 with Dick, Kelly, and Lewis.
Join Al Pacino and his 18-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah, although...
Wait, did those kiddos break up? Because she
had a baby. Or she's having a baby. I think she either had a baby or has a baby.
She had a baby. Because didn't he become the oldest dad or something like that?
He still worked, apparently.
There was some rumor, or people saw her with Bill Maher at a friendly outing. They said they were being friendly.
Wow.
So I don't know what's going on with Bill Maher and Al Pacino.
Or Al Pacino's girl.
Right?
That's such an odd thing. She just had a baby from Al Pacino. I can't imagine you're now all of a sudden dating Bill Maher. Why would Bill Maher want to deal with that baggage?
Yeah, but people do that, though. Like, they think that...
she's 30. That's why he wants to deal with that baggage.
Oh, okay.
She's way younger than him.
And he doesn't have to marry her, I guess.
Well, and I was going to say that some people think that, like, other people's baggage will not be their baggage because they think that baggage is exclusive to...
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
No, here's just a hot 30-year-old who doesn't mind doing an old guy. That's the appeal.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't think it has anything to do with baggage.
No.
Who cares?
Where do you get one of those?
So, like, he's not looking for a relationship with her. Probably.
Just saying. Are those available? Is there, like, a site you go to and you can kind of, like, browse? Window shop, maybe?
Ever heard of Amsterdam? I think you can go window shop over there.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
I think
that's exactly how it works.
There are several apps specifically for that, Lewis.
Yeah, but I don't like those.
Tinder?
Yeah, I'm not swiping.
You know, beggars can't be choosers, Lewis.
What's the difference? I mean, you're asking, where can I find that?
You want
How
a
do
window
you
shop?
find that? Yeah,
Yes.
that's what Tinder is. You look at pictures. You're window
Modern-day
shopping.
Window shopping. Right.
You know, I'm starting to think, I literally worked with someone who did the mail order bride thing.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And it went really well at first, and then she got Americanized. And once that happened...
Oh, yeah. Half.
Exactly.
Eddie Murphy did a whole thing on it.
But that is 100% truth.
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden, shopping came into play. Oh, we never did that before.
I'm an American woman now, Eddie.
Exactly. There is truth in Eddie Murphy Raw. In fact, rewatch that. That might be the guidebook to life that we've always wanted and needed. Courtesy of 1987. Anyway. Morning Blitz Trivia.
Okay, there is a movie coming out that mixes the story of Jesus with mixed martial arts. We asked for the name of that movie, and it is The Carpenter. Makes sense, right? Jesus was a carpenter.
It should be Enter the Christ.
Enter the Christ, yeah, right? Well, Jesus is not doing mixed martial arts. You know, it's funny because you'll hear athletes thanking God a lot. You know, and some people don't understand that. But if your mentor is Jesus Christ, I think you're allowed, right? I mean, you can literally thank God.
That's true.
For being a champion.
You are allowed, yes.
And this guy can do that because Jesus is his... It says he's his mixed martial arts coach. But it seems... I watched the trailer. It looks fantastic. It doesn't show Jesus actually coaching him. It just, like teaching him how to do stuff. But it
this
seems
sounds
like,
so dumb. I can't even wrap my head around it. I think I need to see the trailer.
You need to watch the trailer because it's not this is not a comedy. It's a very serious movie set back in that time.
Okay.
And that's the premise of The Carpenter is about an orphan named Orrin who discovers MMA while working for Jesus as his apprentice. He's a carpenter's apprentice. Orrin is. And so, like I said, the trailer doesn't show Jesus like teaching him how to hit or anything like that. So I think he's more of a mentor than a hands-on coach.
It kind of sounds like Nacho Libre in a way.
Right.
That's why I'm laughing.
Why can't there be the premise that in the time that Jesus walked to earth, there's an amazing martial arts tournament in a secluded island someplace, and JC enters?
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean, it looks like UFC back then. I have to see it. It looks so good.
I want to see him in a room full of mirrors with his tattered robes, clawed with the bear claw, but still
Right.
managing to get the fighter. And Jesus to work some nunchucks. Like, if you're going to go all in on something like this, you go all in.
Yeah.
Not calling this Enter the Christ, missed opportunity. Horrible missed opportunity.
Well, I don't know, but I want to see it.
Have a ripped Jesus when he tears open his robe. And give like philosophical advice after combine the wisdom of Jesus with the wisdom of Bruce Lee. Be like water. Exactly.
That's such a great movie.
Don't think, feel.
All right. Well, that's it. Comes out, what did I see? First month or first week in November. Oh, I got to see this. Yeah, Kelly, we got to watch the trailer during the commercial break.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll. I'm just
Feel the excitement radiating from that part of the room.
Well, I'm just interested to see how she feels about it after seeing the trailer because it just looks so good. By the way, got to congratulate Chuck Bolt from Chillicothe. Chuck was the first one to text in the correct answer, so he's got himself $25 to go over and spend at Waterbeds and stuff.
It's the Morning Blitz.
And now it's time for I've Got Something.
Let's see if these dummies have anything worthwhile for us.
All right. Any of us dummies wish to take on this first?
Yeah, I got something.
What you got?
Just in time for Halloween, officials in Hollywood are reminding the public about a 20-year-old law that carries stiff fines for violators. Signs are posted up and down Hollywood Boulevard, the Sunset Strip, and other parts of the area that say silly string is prohibited all day on both October 31st and November 1st. I guess this product has caused tens of thousands of dollars in property damage to businesses, cars, and even the famous Hollywood Walk of Fame in the past. So back in 2004, the city had it with this Halloween silly string. Apparently, a bunch of people gather in Hollywood to party, and they end up in giant silly string fights. So back in 2004, property owners were so sick of it, and so were the city employees from the fire department, the police department, and the sanitation department, who then had to scrape that foamy plastic off public walkways and buildings. They're like, we're sick of it. This is a stupid use of our time. So the LA mayor at the time, James Hahn, signed a council-backed city ordinance to ban silly string in the city just for Halloween and the day after, and that ordinance is still in effect. And the signage is up right now.
So if I got it 10 o'clock on the 30th and spray it, I'm okay?
I guess so. I guess so. I wouldn't want to chance it because it's $1,000 fine. But
Yeah.
there you go.
Wow.
That's just silly.
It sounds... when I first saw that this morning, I'm like, I thought I hadn't heard it, but I seem to recall a long time ago the complaints about the silly string. I guess I didn't realize it became a law. It has been for 20 years. Wow.
I'm surprised it's still on sale. And I say that because in every instance of silly string, somebody complains about something about silly string. Whether it dries on something and makes a mess everywhere, or you light it on fire and you can, turn your silly string into a flamethrower.
Is that right?
It's flammable. Like, I'm surprised that, they still sell it. Because everybody complains about it.
Well, I'm a fan of silly
Me
string.
too. I love it.
So I hope they don't stop selling it. I always think it's a fun little addition to something, especially when kids are involved. It's a blast squirting things at people.
Absolutely it is.
I guess if you keep it contained.
Okay. Well, I've got something.
All right.
This should be a Florida man, and it kind of is. A United States postal worker accused of tossing away more than 1,000 pieces of mail, including 400 pieces of political mail and one election ballot, according to new evidence. Friday, federal authorities arrested Otis McCoy for stealing United States mail and dumping it in the woods instead of delivering it to his assigned route. According to documents, a co-worker told McCoy's manager he returned from his route earlier than expected, despite leaving with a very large quantity of mail. The manager checked McCoy's vehicle GPS and learned that he had deviated from his route to a wooded lot where the co-worker found several pieces of mail scattered around. A postal inspector with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service began the investigation and obtained surveillance video from a nearby resident that purportedly shows McCoy arriving at the wooded lot in his van with the documents stated. Stills from the surveillance video included the criminal complaint show a man standing near the van appearing to throw mail into the trees and bushes. Other pictures show pieces of mail scattered in the woods, including one election ballot. So now he's facing...
See, that's where your problem is. I'm sure the junk mail is so annoying. It is your job as a postal carrier to deliver that junk mail. But I bet you get one more stack of that crap and you've had it.
You know what it is?
You've had it.
You have. I kind of feel for the plight of the postal worker there. And I say this because if you are not a career postal worker, you're one step above slave labor. They treat you so badly. They send you out with 4,000 tons of mail and they want you to deliver it all in 5 hours. And the guy's probably just like...
Have you been a mail carrier?
No, but I know a friend of mine. A friend of mine is right now.
I figured you were close to it in some way.
2 of my friends are right now. So what they do is they basically, especially if it's hot in the summer, every one of us has got junk mail. What's the first thing you do with junk mail? Throw it away.
Goes in the recycle bin.
This guy has hoofed that mail all the way through the heat, all the way up to your house, knowing damn well all you're going to do is throw it away.
The problem is somebody paid for that to be delivered.
Right,
that's where the problem is, not
lies.
whether you want
because
it
that's
or not.
the only way the post office makes money is deliver the dumb junk mail that nobody wants anyway, because someone still think that's a great way to advertise. So,
but you throw away someone's ballot, now we've got a giant problem on our hands.
This guy was probably trying to cut down on his route so he could get back in a reasonable time, and took what he thought, they don't need this, and chucked it and got caught doing it. So again, I'm not saying he's right, but I do understand the plight of the postal worker.
Man.
So yeah.
It's funny because we've had stories in the past about delivery guys dumping packages. Because they just didn't want to deliver them.
Yeah, that ticks me off.
Well, and that's the other
junk
thing.
mail doesn't tick me off, really.
Well, but the other thing, too, is now the post office is burdened because Amazon has made promises that they can't keep.
Right.
So and the post office is so desperate for money, sure, we'll go ahead and deliver your packages. So you got a guy that not only has to carry 35 pounds of mail, but now he's got to cart your Amazon packages, too. Mm-hmm. Anyway, such is the plight of the postal worker. I'm sorry.
All right. Kelly, I'm guessing based on where you live and all the trees and everything, you guys have a lot of leaves. Tons. And you
every
guys,
day.
You rake them?
No, heavens no.
What do you
never
do?
rake them.
They're called
leaves. We have
leaves.
a mulching mower.
You have a mulching mower, okay.
Yeah.
Just leave them there. They're called leaves.
Well, and if they get too thick, we just blow them into the woods.
Or their neighbor's yard.
We're surrounded by woods. Our other neighbors, everybody's neighbors' leaves kind of blow a little bit,
right,
but
I kind of figured that.
No, we're surrounded by woods.
I mean, you're out in the country.
Frontage,
I get it.
So we just blow it into the woods or mulch them.
All right. Well, that's fine, according to Michigan's Department of Natural Resources.
Thank you. I appreciate the approval of our method.
This just made my day because it's just like, oh yeah, it's fall, it's time to rake, and then you rake, and then it doesn't, and then 2 days later, it doesn't look like you did anything. But they say you shouldn't rake your leaves this fall. They're encouraging people not to rake leaves. They say it's better for your yard's ecosystem. The what they call, quote, rewilding trend has gotten popular lately. It's where you let nature do its thing and don't worry so much about keeping your yard, looking pretty or whatever. So the Department of Natural Resources of Michigan sent out an email this week that said, if raking and bagging fall leaves is an outdoor chore you dread, just skip it. Lots of bugs and other critters use those leaves in winter, either hiding amongst the foliage or eating it. And if you prefer a tidy yard, they suggest raking most of the leaves, but skipping all the ones around the edges, the trees, the bushes, because they're the most important.
Well, good luck for your grass, though.
Well, that's what I'm wondering about.
But your grass will die, but, I guess if you're really looking to enrich your soil, then it's a good idea.
But will it die?
Yeah, it'll dry. Die. Well, where's the sunlight coming in?
Yeah, but after the drought, how alive is your grass right now anyway?
Well, but if we get a ton of snow and a cold spell for 2 months, and then it's under the snow, it doesn't die. So I got me to wondering. I don't know.
Let me know.
You could be right. I don't know.
Leave all your leaves on the ground and tell me how your grass is next year. It might be great. I have no idea either. We always take care of our leaves.
Because after it gets cold, I thought it kind of goes dormant. I don't know. I'm not a, what do you call it?
What about
Horticulturalist.
fungus, too, when you get all those wet leaves just hanging out there and it never dries?
I don't know.
Are you getting mold?
Ew. I don't know. I just like the idea that I may not have to rake my leaves.
I mean, it's worth trying. And then if you just if you have no grass and tons of mold, you'll know not to do it next year.
Sacrifice 1 year for maybe 10. Or learn something new that you can sacrifice every year now.
That is one of the worst outdoor jobs out there, is leaves.
Yeah.
Dealing with leaves.
I like the exercise, but that's about it.
Not me. My arm gets tired within about 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, I get
can't
it.
really rake with the other arm, being the dominant arm.
Oh, you can't rake both ways?
No.
Oh, really?
I mean, I can. I'm not an idiot, but it doesn't feel right. I don't have as much coordination.
Feels off.
I get it.
So,
A little awkward.
Yeah.
Highly suspect on the morning blitz at 6:50. Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn, Lewis. Good morning. Tuesday, where should be a nice day today.
Yes.
Warm. It was warm this morning. It felt good out. 79, partly cloudy. Not bad. Not bad. All right. So if you did not know, Kid Rock, Eminem on the opposite sides of the political coin, which in these days, that kind of makes for, well, hatred.
Yes.
Vengeance. Enter the Christ. We're going to fight.
Man, it's a week from today, right? The election?
Yes, it is.
Thank God. So yeah.
Yeah, and, Kid, obviously, he's full-on Trump supporter, and Eminem endorses Kamala Harris. I didn't know they were great friends to begin with, but apparently they're the best of friends, Eminem and Kid Rock.
Both from Detroit.
Yeah.
I guess maybe a buddy up at that point.
Well, they are big Lions fans on top of that, but Kid Rock made a post saying, I love Eminem. We've been friends for many years. I don't agree with his politics, but I do give credit to him for standing up and not being afraid to be vocal for that which they believe. Thinking differently and having the freedom to do so is what makes this country great. Eminem replied, here's one thing Kid Rock and I do agree on. Go Lions. Appreciate you, Bob.
Nice.
And their team is doing very, very well.
Very much so.
Best team in the NFC right now.
Well, let those two kids be an example. You
Yeah.
can still be decent to each other, even if you don't agree politically.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't have to have the same, just because you are of different opinions doesn't mean it has to be a absolute war. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I think people seem to have forgotten over the course of the last, however many years. It just doesn't have to be, you don't have to be evil to each other.
No, and I mean, again, people will disown family and friends and stuff over this. It's like, where does it even come to that point?
I don't know. Because I always remember being able to have a healthy disagreement and a debate and then still go out for beers or whatever afterwards.
Right.
Like it wasn't,
I mean, I have family members who disagree on politics, but they still love each other.
Right. Not anymore, though. Not anymore.
Yeah, they do still. They still do.
Don't let anybody else know that. They'll kick them out of the group.
And I've watched them debate.
I think the problem is just the internet and social media and the fact that everybody spouts off about everything and has these really strong opinions when you don't have to look somebody in the face. You can say some pretty heinous things about the other side without having to really interact with them. But then when you're face to face with someone, you're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
Maybe I shouldn't be such an a-hole.
That's a good
because I actually do love this person and they don't think the same way I do.
I think you were spot on with that. I think the internet has definitely, made it worse for sure. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've actually brought that up to a really good friend of mine because he's, extreme one way. And I'm like, hey, and he's just going off and off and off. And I'm like, hey, man, this isn't Twitter. Remember, this is not Twitter. And he's like, yeah, okay, all right, I'm sorry, man.
But it feels like
you
Twitter
go ahead,
sometimes.
vote, do you, man? That's fine. But I'm not, I'm not that guy on Twitter you're arguing with. So
Right.
He's up.
If you look on Reddit, people are abandoning family members. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad.
Man.
I can't have a conversation with my parents anymore. I'm thinking of going no contact. Okay.
Yeah. Isn't that messed up?
Oh, it's just, yeah.
Like,
it's so
again,
short-sighted and silly.
Over millionaires who do not like you or even know your name or care anything about you. Like, that's the sad thing. Like, it's not like the people you were voting for are going to come to your house for dinner anytime in the near future.
Exactly.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
A Halloween heat wave is coming to parts of the country this week. Warm temperatures move into the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes today, where record highs are possible. Trick-or-treaters in central Ohio may be warm, but we may also have wind and rain to contend with on Thursday. The Midwest and Northeast will start to cool down by Friday. Well, this sicko, Sean Diddy Combs, is accused in one of 2 lawsuits filed yesterday of drugging and sexually assaulting a 10-year-old boy in a New York City hotel room in 2005. The lawsuits filed in state Supreme Court in New York are the latest in a wave of suits in which accusers allege they were sexually assaulted by Diddy at parties and meetings over the last 2 decades. The second lawsuit filed yesterday accuses him of similarly assaulting a 17-year-old would-be contestant on the reality television series Making the Band back in 2008. Those assaults happened over a 3-day period and involved both Diddy and his bodyguard. Combs' lawyers are denying every single claim of assault and trafficking that's been made by every man, woman, and child up to this point. So, several weeks ago, we started hearing about a registered organ donor in Kentucky who, back in 2021, had been declared dead and then woke up as he was being prepped for organ donation surgery. So that made the rounds a few weeks ago. Thankfully, this man survived that ordeal. He is alive today. However, since that story came to light last month during a congressional hearing, there's been a spike in the number of people revoking their organ donor registrations. Donate Life America found an average of 170 people a day remove themselves from the National Donor Registry in the week following the media coverage of those allegations. That's 10 times more than the same week last year. And how about this? In France, if you are a resident of France, you are presumed to be an organ donor when you die. That is what happens to your body when you die, unless you opt out.
Oh, wow.
After this report from Kentucky came out, the number of people joining France's donation refusal registry jumped from about 100 people a day to 1,000 people a day. So this report has really negatively impacted the organ donor business. Is it a business? I'm not sure. Or the organ donor situation. Very negatively. And they say, yeah, it's all absolutely based on trust, and trust has been broken, and it is going to take time to build that back after this situation. Those are your 3 things.
Wow.
That might cost some people lives.
You think? That's for sure. All right.
Have you guys been following on TikTok the girl who's had incomplete liver failure, turned absolutely yellow with jaundice, her eyeballs jaundice? She was at the highest level of liver failure you could be, and she finally got a liver last week.
That's awesome.
She got a transplant, her second liver transplant. She's young. A girl must be in her 20s. Second liver transplant, the one was failing that she got before. She got it out of the hospital and back home in 4 days.
Oh, wow.
Is that crazy? And her color, her eyeballs are still like yellow, but her color is starting to come back a little bit. It was the weirdest thing. It was popping up left and right all over TikTok. This poor girl. Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, people depend upon organ donors.
Van Halen on the Morning Blitz, 7:07. Thick, Kelly, Lewis, good morning. Looking at Walk by Pantera. Why do I mention that? Because that is the song you want to listen for if you want to win tickets to our Blitzmas concert series within this moment. You want to be caller 16-800-821-9970 when you hear Walk by Pantera sometime between now and 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I don't know. Whenever it plays, that's what you want to listen for.
It'll happen before 8.
Will happen before 8.
Yep. And everybody who wins gets registered for that ultimate God Mode VIP package. Go hang out with Maria Brink, meet the band, get a picture with them, get early entry into the venue.
Nice. That's a good thing.
That would be Kim Alive would be the venue. So So
I like that.
yeah, that show's Saturday, November 30th. Another weekend concert.
Nice.
It seemed like we hadn't got those
It
for a
feels
while.
like-
Now we're getting them all on the weekend.
Yeah, it feels like last year Blitzmas was a weeknight and an early weeknight. It was like every early night of the week you could possibly have a Blitzmas show on Sunday, Tuesday, Monday. We covered it all.
Right.
This time around, much better.
Yeah, I like it.
So I'm good.
All right. I want to bring this up. I got this clip about The Exorcist. You know, I saw this movie when I was very, very young. My wife and I were talking about it last night. She saw it. She said she was 11 and gave her such nightmares because her family was in the theater business and they were showing it in the theater when she was a very little girl. And she was told not to go in, but she did anyway, you know, because when you tell a kid don't do that, they do that. So she went in and watched it when she wasn't supposed to and had severe nightmares for quite a while, she said. So movies can impact little kids like that, you know. But it was rated R when it came out in 73, and so you had to, and at that time you had to be 16 or over in 1973 to go into an R-rated movie. And it was funny because back then when these controversial movies would come out, the TV news crews would be at the theater like opening weekend to interview people when they came out of the theater. That used to go on. I don't ever see that happen anymore, does it?
No.
You know, so, yeah, this news crew was outside this theater back in 1973 talking to these people as they came out from watching The Exorcist.
I think it's disgusting.
Closest thing I've ever seen. It's weird.
She turned her head around. She turned her head around.
We have a lot of people throwing up and a lot of people shuddering. But the thing that really surprises me is people faint. I mean, I've never in my life known a movie where people would faint.
I ain't never took my coat and hit it over my face like that.
I love the girls crying. She turned her head all the way around.
It was a freaky movie.
Sure was.
But
that, that really gets under your skin. It is so unsettling. Even to this day, it's like,
right?
Oh, man.
Still considered one of the scariest movies of all time, and it came out in, 1973 or whatever it is?
I think it's the greatest horror movie ever made. I mean, to me. You're talking about just pure horror.
Horror?
Horror.
Oh.
You know. That's why I was so impressed with The Ring when it came out, because
Ooh, that was a good one.
I had said for so long, I'm like, it's been so long since I saw a really high-quality, legit horror movie.
So good.
And The Ring filled that.
I love that.
You know?
Yeah, I like The Ring, too. I like a horror movie that is... You can tell that it's very intelligently written.
Yes.
And it has a really, beyond the scare tactics, it has a strong storyline to it. And you can tell they put a lot of thought into it. It wasn't just, we'll do this because it'll get a reaction, or, we'll do this because it's gory. Or
jump scares and all that. Yeah, no, The Omen. You talk about The Omen's another one.
Yeah, very much so.
Category.
Like, you're into the story, and it just freaks the hell out of you at the same time.
Really, the movie that kept me, I had nightmares after I saw it. It was The Conjuring.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that scared me.
My mom has always talked about Last House on the Left. She said that one did it to her. And I always thought, I went back and watched it, but I was like, I don't know, she probably saw it when she was a kid. When I watched it, I was an adult. And then they remade it, and I thought it was one of the best remakes that's ever been done. I mean, if you haven't seen The Last House on the Left, the newest one, I highly recommend that. That's fantastic. So, but yeah, man, people freak out. I would like to see them start doing that again, or is it just not worth it to interview people coming out of theaters right after a great horror movie?
Yeah, like Terrifier 3.
Yeah, you know, because it was 2, and I don't know if it's happening during 3, but 2 was the one where they were throwing up and fainting in the theaters, and I'm like, I don't know that I've ever watched anything where I felt like I was going to faint.
I haven't seen a good build-up to a horror movie since the Blair Witch Project, so maybe it's just we're not building it up enough to say this is the most terrifying thing you're ever going to see. It's so gross, you're not going to make it through the movie. And then maybe there's a news story there. I don't know.
The movie Crazy People with Dudley Moore, where he was an advertising guy, and he came up with that quote for that horror movie, and it said, "This movie will F you up for life." So that's how they... promoted that one.
It's the Morning Blitz, 723, Thick Rick, Kelly Quinn. I'm Lewis. Good morning. So, we live in a very negative world, would you say? Every time you turn on the news, negative. Every time you talk to someone, mostly negative, right?
Media's negative.
Media, very negative. So how about something good?
Let's hear it.
Okay, you guys remember the
Mr.
name?
Negative.
Me, I know. The Prince of Negativity is about to drop some niceness on you. Remember the name Bryson Kleiman? Have you ever heard that name before?
Who?
Bryson Kleiman.
Never.
Okay.
Can't say I do.
He's from Virginia. He's an 8-year-old boy. His dog, Bruce, got diagnosed with parvo. The treatment cost $700, which the family could not afford. So Bryson decided that he was going to sell his Pokemon card collection to raise funds to save his dog. He put up a table with a sign that said Pokemon for sale to raise funds. Now, this happened a few years ago. After his story spread on Facebook, people began donating without expecting cards in return. Bryson initially wanted to raise $700, but ended up earning over $15,000. Through the kindness of strangers, Bruce is now home and recovering. The family planned to use the additional donations to help other families and animals. They thanked everyone for their love and support, Bryson's mother said. Bryson has also been showered with kindness from across the U.S., and now, with the help of others, can enjoy a reward for himself. So much, in fact, that Pokemon stepped in and replaced all of the cards
Oh, isn't that nice?
that he sold.
Oh, wow.
There's a picture online. You can find him of Bryson with his dog. He's got glasses. He's a cute kid. But yeah, to save his dog, he sold his Pokemon collection and ended up making a lot of money and saving his dog's life.
Well,
Which I don't know about you two, but that warms my cold black heart.
That is a great story.
And he's a cute kid. And it's funny when you see, it's nice to see someone at that age not thinking of themselves and only thinking of their dog. And I can't imagine the parents having to tell their kid that they can't afford the surgery to save their dog.
I got you.
Yeah. Stepped right in there, huh?
Yeah. So I thought it was a cute story.
Not to be heartless, but where in the heck can you get treatment for parvo for that cheap? Because we had a dog that had parvo and it was thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
and the dog died.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. It's not to lessen that. It's a very nice story. And it's really nice to see, a child be selfless like that. Because most of us growing, you're kind of selfish as a kid. You just want things for yourself. To give up your precious collection for your dog is really
your
nice.
dog's precious, too, to a kid. But did you guys spend the thousands?
Yep.
And he died anyway.
He died anyway.
Oh,
and we had
sorry.
the dog. We adopted the dog and had the dog for 8 hours.
What?
And had to take it to MedVet. And it was diagnosed with parvo. It was a 2-year-old dog. Bad situation. It was really sad, you guys. It was probably one of the saddest things that ever happened.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
What a...
And they were like, yeah, it's going to be... they quoted us a very large number, and we're like, start treatment. We don't have time to waste here. And...
See, I feel bad. When we had a pug prior to the ones we have now named Bruce Lee, and back in 2018, he had something wrong in his spinal and his nerves, and he got to the point where he couldn't stand, he couldn't walk, and we took him in, and we had to go because it was after hours. We took him to our vet, and our vet's like, you need to get him to emergency right now. So we took him to emergency, and we were there for a few hours, and some doctor we'd never met, and again, not slagging them for doing their job, comes walking out and says, okay, what we can do is we can ship him down to Cincinnati, we can operate on him, we're not sure, what's wrong with him, we're not sure if the operation's going to help, but it's going to be about $6,000. And Lauren's a wreck, and I'm not much better, but I'm like, we need to think about this for a second, and literally went in the room, and I'm like, we're not doing this. I'm like, we're not putting him down here. We're not shipping him off someplace, maybe to never get him back. And I'm like, I walked out. I'm like, when she came back in, I'm like, we're going to take our dog. Because for $6,000, you can't guarantee me another day with my dog, let alone another year or another whatever. You can't even tell me what's wrong with him. And we ended up taking him to our other vet, who did the worst thing I've ever possibly experienced in my life. But it's crazy how, and I mean, in your case, you guys spent money and it still didn't You know what I mean? You never know.
Yep. I mean, you just have to, I guess, decide what you can do and what you can't. You know, it's a tough decision.
Yeah. And I don't know if,
But we should all have a Pokemon collection we could sell.
Right?
Right? Just in case we... I guess what it comes down to is... And I'm not saying it shouldn't cost this much at the vet, but it costs so much. And then they're like, well, get pet insurance, health insurance. And it's like, that's another expense for people. It's just wild. I feel like healthcare, no matter if you're a human or a dog, is wildly out of control.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And I had pet insurance before. We've had pet insurance before. And it didn't really do anything. I don't see where we saved a ton of money by having it. I really, truly don't. Like, it just... because everything that you have to do to care for an animal is just so expensive regardless of what you're doing, especially if you have to go anything beyond the minimum of what you would do at the vet. You get into, serious costs and everything, and I think I'll
tell you the thing that bugs me is that we went to a country vet for years with our last dog, and it was, absolutely the greatest experience of my life with a vet. We go to a different vet now with our new dog, and I will tell you the prices are tripled.
I believe that.
Tripled.
Matt, the truck driver, said that he and his girlfriend just went through the parvo thing. It was $1,100 care, $3,500 if they were to take care of the dog. He said they did take the dog home, but the dog did beat it and is doing great. So
yeah, that's great news.
That is awesome. Sam said Lewis's heart just grew 10 times its original size. And JD Marie said, so, is Lewis officially the Blitz Grinch?
No. I hate Christmas. We went through this last year.
You hate Christmas, but you're not the Blitz Grinch.
No, I don't ish on anyone else's Christmas. I just hate Christmas.
Okay.
Your rock station, 99.7 The Blitz.
Lee texted in to thank you for that uplifting segment. Thank all of us for it. We started out nice, and now we're talking about dogs dying and hating Christmas. So this really, really uplifted everybody.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Doug said, thanks a lot, Kelly. You ruined the whole story.
Uh-huh.
That's what we do. That's true. For the record, Doombringer, I did have it end on a positive note.
You know what? I would concede the point. You are right. You were trying to do something nice, and I brought up...
Well, when I had my dog, let me tell you.
We spent thousands of dollars and your dog died.
My dog didn't
How about
live.
that? But hey, good for the Pokemon kid.
Right? Hope you like that collection. Didn't do much over here. Just saying.
That was my fault. I need to take full blame for that.
Thank you.
But where'd the I hate Christmas come in, man?
I didn't bring that up. He brought that up.
I didn't. You said it. JD asked if you were the Blitz Grinch. You said, I told you I hate Christmas.
It's Pantera on the Blitz, 740, Thick, Kelly Lewis, and that was the song you were listening for In This Moment. Tickets, congratulations to Sean Bias, caller number 16, picking up those tickets and registered for that chance at the VIP package that includes the meet and greet, early entry, all that good stuff.
We'll draw that Friday afternoon, I believe. That show will be on, Saturday, November 30th. So just about a month away.
Just a couple days away from November, which is crazy.
Kelly's your house haunted?
No.
You really think she would live in a haunted house? No.
No, I moved into a condo when I was single in my 30s, and I did have a friend of mine come pray over it because it felt weird in there to me.
Really?
Yeah. And I had a really good friend we were in the same church, and I'm like, hey, will you come pray over my condo?
And did it work?
Well, I felt like it can't hurt. It can't hurt, can it?
Okay.
So I was glad to have her do it, and it was never haunted or anything like that, but it made me feel better about it.
Now, you said you lived in a haunted house, Lewis?
I fully believe I lived in a haunted house. I had a condo with this guy.
What's with condos?
I know. We had this guy that was working for the radio station, one of the radio stations I used to work for, and he didn't have a place to stay, so he was staying with me and my roommate at the time. And we lived in this house where we shared with other people, but we had an unfinished attic. And he's like, can I just sleep in your attic? I'll just put an air mattress down and sleep in your attic. And I'm like, Josh, that's not going to work. We can't do that. Let's try to find you a place. So I drove in to find this other place, and it was one of those, like, brownstone brick buildings with, like, windows in the front. So in my head, I went, dude, you're going to walk in here. This is going to be filled with, like, 1 or 2 bedroom small apartments. This is probably a good place. So we met. They had a for rent sign out. So we went and took a look at it. Well, when I went with him to look at it, they opened the 2 front doors, which I thought, because they were double doors, like French double doors, I thought that was the entrance to the entire building. Oh, no. That was the entrance to the condo itself. So it came in, and it
fancy.
Was massive, had a fireplace, like huge place, and then it was 3 bedroom, 2 bath, like all this. I'm like, okay. I'm like, Josh, why don't we all move here together?
Right.
So that's what we ended up doing. And come to find out, my dog had a pug, another pug. I had a pug named Bella at the time. She used to randomly bark at stuff in the middle of the night, and I couldn't figure out why. One night, I woke up, and I swear to God, to this day, I will go to my grave believing this is true. I saw this old man standing over me in the middle of the night. And I woke up, and I was like, my dog didn't go crazy for some reason, but I woke up and saw it, and I was like, ah! Like, you know how you get, like, jump scared.
Right.
Then the old man faded away. I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was super weird, so I brought my friend Bonsai, is very spiritual. And he came in, and kind of the same thing. Kelly was like, let's just walk around and see if we feel anything. He's like, I feel a weird aura in here or whatever. So I started asking the owners about it, who the owner was an architect. What it was, in the time of the Great Depression, the building I was in was the clinic or the hospital. So everybody went in there. My exact bedroom was one of the surgical rooms and all that. So, like, probably multiple people had died in that house during the Great Depression time or whatever, before medicine had advanced or whatever, but I ended up living in an old hospital, and I swear to God it was haunted.
Wow.
No
well,
kidding.
Yeah. Cool place, but I swear to God it was haunted.
By the way, Kelly, Doug wants to know if when your friend was done praying, did she say, this house is clean?
Yeah. Clear. No, I wish she did.
Well, 16% of people say they live in a haunted house. 11% say they visited an actual haunted house. 6% say they haven't yet but would like to. And 29% say they have not and have no interest in going to a haunted house. We're not talking about the ones you pay to go through and get scared. We're talking about legit haunted houses, if they exist. 24% of people believe that houses can be haunted. And that's more common among men. 31% of men believe.
Well, if you live in a time where if something bad happened in a house, even if it was years ago, maybe that negativity is kind of stuck around. I mean, I can't imagine if someone was murdered in their house, they weren't happy about it at the time.
No, I don't believe that there are, like, spirits with unfinished business, like dead humans with unfinished business. I don't believe that. I do believe in a spiritual realm, though, with angels and demons. I believe that. And you just don't know what's going on.
Right.
Do we? We haven't pulled back the curtain to see that.
I would agree.
I don't know. I don't know what people are experiencing, but I don't think they're experiencing nothing.
Well, no. And I mean, most people who believe that houses can be haunted and believe in ghosts and stuff have had some sort of experience in their life that causes them to believe that. That's like me. I say, I haven't seen one. I've never had any kind of experience. So,
yeah. I remember asking my friend, I'm like, why didn't this old man, why did my dog bark at the old man? She barks at everything. He's like, because it wasn't there to hurt you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I guess that was comforting enough at the time. I have no idea. But I'm with you, Kelly. I think there are constantly, there's a world we don't see, and there are forces that are at war around us all the time. And I think also they have influence on us. I think there is some truth to the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other.
Right.
God knows I've listened to that devil more times than I probably should. But
do you think you could buy a house if you knew somebody had been murdered in that house?
Good question. Let's think about that for a second and revisit it. And we want to hear what you think, Blitz Nation.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, that's just because that's where a lot of haunted houses come from. Because I want somebody to call in and tell us why their house is haunted.
6 a.m. on the Morning Blitz. It's 7:51 with Thick, Kelly, and Lewis. Talking about haunted houses. Ever lived in one? Would you buy one that someone was murdered in? I don't know if I would or not. Depends on how much I like the house. Some curb appeal can go a long way.
We got Stephanie on the phone, and Stephanie, you say you definitely lived in a haunted house.
Absolutely.
What
I did.
was that like? What was going on there?
So it was kind of scary at first because she was making herself known. Her name was Marjorie, and she had owned the house 2 owners prior to us. And she was just very old, and she was no longer able to take care of the house. It was a Victorian 3-floor old home in Ironton, Ohio. And so when they had to take her out, she said, I will live in that house again one day.
Wow.
So when all this weird stuff started happening, my mom was at the local pharmacy, and they were talking about a lady who had passed away, and she stopped and was like, whoa, wait, what? That's my house. Once we recognized her and said, hello, Marjorie, welcome home, she stopped her shenanigans. She'd open doors, she'd flip things on. I crawled to the back of my brother's closet, and there was an old alarm clock, like the type that has a flip face on it. No batteries in it, not plugged in, blaring to the heavens. It was insanity. But once we acknowledged her, she just did helpful things. She'd turn things off that we knew were left on. She'd lock things we knew we had left unlocked. It was amazing once we acknowledged her.
And so would you thank her for doing stuff like that?
Yeah, we would thank her. We would tell her thank you. At the kitchen sink, it was a really large kitchen sink with a big bay window that you looked out over the backyard, and you could be standing there and you would just feel, you know how you know somebody's there? You could look up into that window and you could see just a shadow sometimes, and it would be quick and not all the time, but she was definitely there.
Wow.
That's creepy.
That is. It's always the old Victorian houses, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are always the ones that are haunted for some reason.
So Darian said he lived in a house built.
They hold so much energy.
Right.
Yeah, Darian said he lived in a house built in 1900 that was a funeral home and was very haunted, and he'd seen many crazy things.
Well, then that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I love that. That's a selling point to me.
That would make you want to buy the house?
Hell yes.
So the other question we asked was, would you be cool buying a house that somebody was murdered in? Obviously you would be.
I would be. I would be fine with it. I would just make peace with the energy in the home, and we could live together.
All right. Hey, thanks so much for the call, Stephanie. Really appreciate it. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, too.
We just got a crazy text. Listen to this. This person said, I was home alone with my dogs. They were at my feet while I was sitting on the couch. I caught a human-shaped figure out of the corner of my eye run into the kitchen. The motion-activated light in the kitchen came on, and my dogs bolted toward the kitchen. They chased whatever it was into the basement, and then were growling at an empty corner in the back of the basement when I got down there.
Wow.
Why can't I ever have an experience like this?
Because you don't believe.
Wild.
You're
It's
not a
not
believer.
that. I just haven't had an experience. I haven't seen a thing.
Jonathan said, I rebuilt a house down in Jackson County across from the liquor store. The husband passed away. The wife kept him in bed for 2 months after he passed, and then she starved herself and died next to him in bed. We bought the house. Things would move when I was remodeling it, or tools would turn on or turn off. Got done with the remodel, sold the house, and the people who bought it didn't even stay in it a month, but it's up for sale again. Isn't that crazy? There are haunted houses out there.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of texts about a lot of haunted houses. I mean, again, I'm waiting. I guess my time will come eventually, maybe. But you think it's because I just truly don't believe, so I won't see it?
Yeah, I think you have to.
But how does that stop? If they're real.
I believe in it, and I've never seen anything.
Well,
I just believe that there is a spirit world out there. I believe in angels and demons, 100%.
You have to open it. You have to be open.
I've never seen anything move in my home or weird sounds that were unexplainable or anything like that.
I just feel like whether you believe or not, if those things are real, then if you're in a place where they exist, you will see something happen. I mean, isn't that everybody has their first experience at some point? If you ever have one, so I just feel like whether somebody believes or not, eventually, if something happens, then that gives you a reason to believe.
I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I don't think that I will be murdered, but if I do die, I would like to come back and put some wrong things right and haunt the ish out of some people. That would be fun.
That would be a good time.
And now, the 3 things you need to know before you go.
As police investigate Saturday's fatal shooting outside the Kroger store in the University District, local residents are worried about the number of crimes at that location. It is the second homicide in that Kroger parking lot this fall. And a look back at police records shows a number of violence incidents at that store at North High Street and Clark Place. Since 2022, there have been police calls for 3 killings, 18 fights, 18 robberies, and 14 assaults. That's wild.
That's a bit much.
Little extreme.
I feel like we know where to stick some little bit of police presence, don't we?
Yeah, right.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. That's really wild. Amazon founder and Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos is defending the newspaper's decision to stop endorsing presidential candidates. Bezos writes in an article on the Post website that presidential endorsements do nothing to tip the scales in the election. He says what they actually do is create a perception of bias and non-independence. His comments came 3 days after Post CEO and publisher Will Lewis announced the paper would not endorse any presidential candidate in this election or any in the future. NPR reports the Post has lost more than 200,000 digital subscribers since Lewis's announcement last Friday. 1 year and a day in prison for actor Jay Johnston for his role in the 2021 Capitol riot. Johnston, best known for being the voice of Jimmy Pesto in Bob's Burgers. He was filmed with a stolen riot police shield and alongside another group of rioters who pushed a police officer who guarded the entrance to the Capitol building. Earlier this year, he pleaded guilty to interfering with police officers and was ordered to pay $2,000 in restitution, and now will spend 366 days in jail. And those are your 3 things.
We lost our train of thought. Sorry, my paper moved.
It was a ghost.
It was.
Studio's haunted.
Speaking of ghosts, that's where I was going. We have your chance to see Ghost, and we'll tell you how to get those tickets coming up in just a few. We're also going to talk a little bit more about haunted houses because we got a ton of response. And, well, it's Halloween, so this is really the only time we can talk about haunted houses. 8:08 on the Morning Blitz. It's Dick, Kelly, Lewis. Ghost announced their tour. Closest they come to us is Cleveland, Ohio, Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We've got your chance to see them. Caller 16 at 800-821-9970 when you hear One by Metallica.
That will happen before 9.
All right, so we talked about haunted houses a little bit earlier. Would you buy one if you knew someone was murdered there? Or would you ever live in one?
Or
do you live in one? And we've got a ton of people that have been chiming in on this.
It is crazy. I got to scroll back down here. My mom's house, this is Travis, my mom's house is over 200 years old and original family still haunts it. Over 8 people have experienced things there. So, and Gerald says if I want to see a ghost, I need to just come stay the night at his garage, and then I'll believe.
Okay.
All right.
I lived in one of the places I worked, the town there were a lot of haunted buildings in the town because it was a shipping town back in the early like Pioneer days. And they said that like when people didn't pay their debts or, you just got murdered for whatever reason, they just threw bodies like in the river or just kind of buried them to hide them and whatever. So you had a lot of they said
like a pauper's grave or a debtor's grave.
Yeah, you had like a lot of evil spirits because of that because there was never proper burials done. Somebody would gamble and not be able to pay their debts at the end of the night and someone would just follow them out back and shoot them, which is a hell of a time to live in.
Regarding somebody being murdered in a home you're thinking about buying, I need a lot of questions answered before, and it's nothing to do with anything spiritual. For me, it's like, You can tell when you walk into a home whether someone has a cat or whether someone's been a smoker because there's just stuff soaked in, right? It's just the nicotine on the walls, or more accurately, like with cat pee that's soaked into, your carpet padding and things you don't see, but it's there and you can't get rid of. I need to know that about a murder. What happened? What was the situation? What type of juices are involved here? What type of cleaning happened afterwards? Because that's what I'm concerned about. I don't need to be smelling that, after I move in.
So after the murder, did you pull out the carpet, maybe lay down a nice laminate floor? Something.
Yeah, at least clean it up. Take up the old carpet padding.
Yeah, what if the murder happened like 50 years ago and 3 families have lived there since and it's all been redone and everything?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't care about something that's happened generations ago. I care about something that happened before I moved in.
Yeah,
What if the murder was there 50 years ago and you got someone who bought the house that had that same taste and they didn't want to update it?
Jeez.
So you're left with it. Or they thought it was cool. Hey, if you peel back the carpet in the bedroom, you can see the blood stain.
Now, Lewis, you think that I haven't had any kind of an experience because I definitely don't believe, and we got a text from somebody who agrees with me because they were like that, and then they went to the Buxton Inn this past weekend and experienced paranormal activity, and we have heard from Neil Parks about the Buxton Inn.
Yeah.
Buxton Inn's beautiful.
I do think you have... Oh, sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
I
please.
think is it just one room that's haunted there, or is it like the kitchen? Wait, they had a kitchen fire somewhere. That was in the Granville. Never mind, I'm confusing stories. But yeah, I think is it just one room at the Buxton? Correct me.
I think that's what Neil said.
On that story.
I don't know. Yeah, I think you have to, you got to believe. You got to be open to it. Again, you may never see it, but you at least have to have an open mind about it.
Well, I mean, it's hard to believe something that you've never seen before, that nobody can prove, that nobody can produce. That's why I told Neil, I said, take me somewhere where I can see a ghost. I'm willing.
All right.
It's not like I'm like, no, it's never going to happen. I don't care what you say kind of thing. It's never happened.
Lindsay said, my house is haunted by my mom's fiance that died in the house in 2020. I know it's him because he's still doing stuff that annoyed me when he was alive. But it's nice to know that he's still with me. So my question is, though, and this is, we're going to get super religious, and I don't mean to, are you an evolution or a science person?
I think that's one and the same, isn't it?
Or, I mean, an evolution or a creation person.
I do lean more towards evolution.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both.
Well, that's, like I said, I lean.
Because I believe creation happened, but I didn't think there was some evolution that happened after the creation.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, I don't know. I mean, the planet's been here for 4.5 billion years, man. I don't know.
Justin said
something had to create it.
Justin said you don't even need an open mind. I'm one of the biggest skeptics on the planet, but I ended up in Deliverance miniseries, seeing some crazy things that I would not believe had I not seen with my own eyes. And I think that's part of it.
Deliverance miniseries.
I don't know.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah.
My gosh, you can't just say that and not give us details.
Are your knees okay?
It's the Morning Blitz.
It's time for another edition of Normal or No.
It's 8:24. I'm Lewis. That's Thick Rick. She's Kelly Quinn. Is this normal or nope? We share. We ask you to share.
Is it normal to tell your dog when you'll be back as soon as you're leaving, like when you're leaving the house? We do that all the time.
Like, I'll be back in 2 hours?
Be back in a few hours, buddy. Just have a good nap. We love you.
You know he has no idea what 2 hours means, right?
I do know that, Thick.
Okay, just checking.
See,
I just wondered.
I am convinced that dogs can tell time.
No.
Mine know every day when it's breakfast and when it's dinner.
Yeah, they have a great internal clock for their meals and things like that when they go to bed.
Yep.
Yeah. Mine does the same.
Yeah.
He knows exactly when to come stick his face in our faces for his meals.
Sure.
And he trots upstairs around the same time every evening, jumps in bed, and goes to sleep.
Yep. They know. I don't care what... Dogs can't tell time. Yes, they can.
No, they know their instinct. They know from doing that every day. But that's not because they can tell time.
I know.
They don't know what hours are. They don't know.
I don't think anybody's arguing that point.
Okay.
You're absolutely right, Vic.
They don't understand most of the language we speak.
I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had the greatest music video of all time.
I'm just saying, they don't understand most of the words we speak.
So do you tell your dogs? I'm sorry, Thick. Go on.
I was going to say they best recognize like one word or one syllable commands and visuals.
This is yes. Okay. Do you tell your dog, Lewis, when you leave the house? Do you say I'll be back in an hour, or are you just like later, buddy?
Yeah, all the time.
I know you don't breeze by him and say nothing.
No. Now, I am guilty of if I come home and they are sleeping, I will, if like, let's say yesterday, I knew I was going to go box. I come home, they're fast asleep, I will sneak in, change clothes, go box, and then come back and greet them after.
Yeah, there's no reason to wake them up.
Exactly.
Man, I'm with you. No reason to wake them up.
But yeah, if I'm leaving and they're wide awake, very much so. Hey, buddy, see you in an hour. You know, like just very much so.
Eric says, I say goodbye to my dogs every morning. Yeah. Danny says, I absolutely let my 6 cats know when I'm coming home and tell them to behave while I'm gone.
Rachel Ray says, yes, I do, and I always tell them to be a good boy.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah. So I guess that's normal. I think it's normal for dog people. Aw, cute dog, Rachel. I think it's normal for dog people.
And Danny, because she has 6 cats.
And cat people, pet people. Yeah. Let's just not pigeonhole anybody.
Like your fish. You're probably not saying goodbye to your fish.
If you are, yeah. Okay. They're going to swim up to the side.
Oh, we're going to discriminate now?
Yeah, we are. Is a fish going to swim up to the side of the aquarium and wait there till you come back? Probably not.
Amanda says she gives a whole explanation of where she's going and when she'll return.
Gosh sakes.
I think you should. It's good to keep them in the know.
Dogs heads tilting.
Absolutely.
Like, what is this idiot saying to me?
They understand.
Do they?
Yes, they do.
They know you're leaving. They do know that. And telling the cats to behave is just, that is not going to do any good because those cats are not going to behave most of the time.
They're gone. Let's wreck some ish.
Right. All right. I don't do this, but I know a couple other people who have said they do. I think it's absolutely, it just gives me the creeps to even think about it. Watching a movie at the theater with your shoes off. Taking your shoes off. You get in your seat at the movie theater and then take your shoes off.
That's just flat out rude.
Why?
It's the same person who kicks their shoes off on an airplane.
Yeah.
You know,
I wouldn't do that
coach.
either. Wouldn't do that either.
It's just rude.
It's not done. It should not be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we agree. It's not normal.
No, it's rude.
Oh, it's disgusting.
And number 2, like, what is it's like always got stickiness
That's
on
what
it
I mean.
in movie theater.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're putting your socks or your bare feet on that?
That is gross.
Yeah.
Plus, we all know that there have been reported, like, situations with rodents. You can't keep a rodent out. It's tough. Everybody has to deal with it. But in movie theaters, it's been known to happen from time to time. I don't want to feel one crawling over my tootsies.
Yeah. I just don't understand that. Why is it rude, though?
It's rude because...
You're not home.
That's a home thing. It'd be like clipping your toenails. It's just not done.
Right.
You don't do that stuff in public. You keep it for the home.
Yeah, but I mean, is anybody seeing them? You're sitting in a dark theater and they're right there below you. It's not like...
Do you always know if your feet smell?
My feet never smell. So, yes, I always know they don't smell.
How about this? And this would be acceptable to me. If you come in with tennis shoes and like athletic socks or whatever, and you want to kick those off and throw on some flip-flops, I hate a flip-flop because I don't want to see your feet, but if you do that, I won't shame you for it.
Right.
Throw on some flip-flops. At least have some foot covering on.
Yeah.
For the stickiness.
And again, I'm convinced that not everybody knows when their feet stink.
I feel like that's not a huge problem out there.
No,
is it?
Not
Are
all
you
of us,
smelling people's
not all
feet
of us,
very regularly?
Not all of us sleep in our socks and then wear those socks all day.
But to me, I'm with you, Lewis. There is a question of hygiene. If I see people kicking off their shoes and socks in public, what are you doing?
Right. It's the same people who would walk through the gas station barefoot.
No.
Hard pass. Like, you don't know what's there. And again, if I see somebody in front of me, whether I have my shoes on or not, Mom always taught me not to put my feet on the back of the chair if somebody's in front of me.
Right.
Oh, don't do that. Yeah, that's very annoying.
So it's just, you're not in your own personal space. You're in a public space. The seats have already gotten significantly more comfortable in movie theaters than they have been in the last 20 years.
That's right. Like, you're as comfortable as you need to be in public
Right.
at that point, right? You could kick back in your chair,
Exactly.
you roll that bad boy back so you're practically, like,
Now,
prone.
because it gets so, especially in the summer, because it gets so air-conditioned cold in movie theaters, if you brought a blanket in for the movie theater, I would not be upset about that, but keep the shoes on.
Oh, prone is when you're on your stomach. Sorry, but I guess you could do that if you wanted.
But you're reclined all the way.
Yeah, reclined. That's a better word. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, all right. I've got one, too. Do you have a favorite spoon that you use for things? I have a favorite spoon, although I don't know where it is now.
Do you not have, like, matching spoons?
Oh, hell, we probably have a dozen different kind of spoons in our drawer.
Me too. Us too.
Okay. Well,
But I
look at
do
you
have-
guys.
We have a group of the same, but then there's others.
Yeah.
All the others.
But there is one particular spoon that I love, and it's the only one of the. It's the last remainder of a 4 set, and it's the one spoon that I love to eat cereal with.
Yeah.
And you've misplaced it.
Yeah, it's somewhere.
Oh, no.
I don't believe it's in my home anymore, either of them. Like, so I don't know where it would be. Maybe it's in my storage unit somewhere in that stuff. I don't know. But yeah, it was my favorite cereal spoon, so I did have a favorite spoon.
Let's take a look on the internet and find you another set. I really want you to have those spoons.
It's not the same, though.
I do.
It's not that spoon.
I do have a specific ice cream spoon.
Okay.
And I only use that spoon for ice cream.
It helps
and
you
it's
enjoy
the
it.
Only spoon like it in the drawer.
Okay. I get it.
My wife's got hers too for ice cream.
Anyone
Her
else?
specific spoon.
Anyone else would use that to serve like vegetables out of a bowl after they cook it. Is it one of those?
No, remember I told you I use a teaspoon
A scoop?
for ice cream because I want it to last longer.
A ladle? Is
Yeah.
that the
Right.
is that your
It's a
favorite
ladle.
spoon?
It's my ice cream spoon.
I could eat ice cream with a ladle, but I don't.
But yeah, so I guess that's normal then.
Well, for me it
yeah.
is, and you, Kelly.
You know what? We just don't have like wildly unmatched silverware. I'm not sure why though. When I had a bunch of roommates, there was all kinds of stuff in there. But yeah, I guess somehow we've managed to keep our
Spoons the same?
spoons and forks and knives all the same.
Oh, good for you.
It's so fancy. I can't stand it.
It's the Morning Blitz, 844 Thick, Kelly Lewis. That's Metallica 1. That's the song you were listening for. If you wanted to see Ghost in Cleveland.
The land.
The Mistake by the Lake. The Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse.
Where the Cavaliers play, where the Cavaliers are 4-0. Well, they're 4-0 on the year. They weren't all there, but Cavs are rolling, man.
They are.
Yeah.
Solid.
So's Carl Wood from Marion because he was the 16th caller when he heard it, and he has got tickets to see Ghost. That is Thursday, July 17th. Tickets will go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through Ticketmaster. We'll have more tickets to give away tomorrow.
So tell us about pot pie.
Pot pie, man. This is unreal. This happened in Wisconsin, a place called Yeti's Pizza. They recently issued an apology after accidentally serving pizza with THC. Now, how does a pizza place accidentally serve pizza with weed in it? That's what I
mix
want.
up the oregano, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been known to happen.
But, I mean, why do you have pot in your pizza place? To be mixed up with the oregano.
Have you never worked at a restaurant?
Thank you, Kelly. I'm pretty sure
I think the kitchen of every restaurant has got weed in it.
There is one thing that's
Is
a
that
fact.
right?
Yes.
In fact, I would
What?
go on record to say there is one thing on fact. Every restaurant here, I would say in the greater Columbus area, has a pot smoker on staff someplace.
One?
At least one.
Well, that I believe, yes, but I just didn't think
if
pot was laying around in the restaurant to get mixed up with the oregano.
If there's a pot smoker on the restaurant, there's pot on the facility property.
Well, this stuff must have been good because some people were hospitalized. I'm like, what? Okay, well, it's not. Okay, so it wasn't. It was, again, I said it was THC. All right, here's the difference. The incident occurred when a worker unknowingly used oil infused with Delta-9 THC. So it was infused in the oil, but why do you have that oil in there? I don't understand. He mistook it for standard cooking oil in the shared kitchen space.
I served and hosted at a restaurant in college, and there was a dude that smoked on the kitchen line.
Cigarettes.
Absolutely. His name was Randy.
On the kitchen line.
And you were afraid to say anything to him because he'd shiv you. But, Bonk, Randy, you know you're smoking, right? Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Over the salad, right? Yeah. All right, just let you know.
Oh, that is so gross, man.
But I also had a kitchen manager that when they were coming in for, inspection or whatever, they spray painted all the stuff that looked like it was like super dirty and needed cleaned. Waiting. Watch the movie Waiting with Ryan Reynolds. That movie is a 100% factual biopic of every restaurant in America.
All right. Several customers experienced symptoms like dizziness, nausea, and hallucinations, prompting emergency responses. The restaurant took quick action, closed down for cleaning, discarded contaminated ingredients, and committed to preventing future incidents while cooperating with local health and authorities. It says, after receiving reports from staff, Yeti's owner and employees of unexplained physical reactions, we underwent an investigation with the Stoughton police and the local health officials. Today it was confirmed that we have sold dough mistakenly prepared with oil contaminated with Delta 9. We want to assure you that all affected products have been destroyed. Famous Yetis is working closely with local authorities to improve our storage and security protocols to prevent this from happening again.
I guarantee someone saved a frozen pot-filled pizza crust for a special occasion.
Oh, well, they sell those at Luigi's.
Do they?
Yeah.
Bro, for a limited time only, you can try the new Luigi's Pizza Pot Pie. And don't be confused, bro. It's not like a chicken pot pie, where the pizza's inside the pot pie, but that would be good too. It's like a regular pizza with pot on the pie. Bro, I keep thinking about the chicken pot pie with the pizza inside. This sounds so good. But right now, if you want, you can order the new pot pie from Luigi's. I forgot the phone number, bro. Just Google it.
That does sound really good. A pizza pot pie?
Sure. Let's bake one and see how it tastes.
I mean, that sounds awesome, right? That is, by the way, that's a joke. That is not, because we do have a Luigi's Pizza in Hilliard. It's not them. They don't sell that. I just wanted to throw that out.
Thank you for clearing that up.
I didn't even realize we had this joke, and then there is a Luigi's Pizza.
We're back.
There's probably a Luigi's Pizza everywhere.
I would hope. It's a common Italian name.
By the way, sampled my farming.
You did?
Ooh, you'll have to tell us all about it. Good morning, Blitz. Dick Rick, Kelly Quinn, Lewis, 8:53 on a Tuesday. Tried your plants, huh? The Mexican haze?
Yeah, after 1 week of curing, I tried the Mexican haze. Actually, Tess and I tried it on Sunday.
Oh.
And I was not disappointed at all. I was actually stunned. I did not think it would be that good.
But it was.
It was. It was, and it's mostly sativa, so I felt upbeat and ready to go. And, it's crazy, man. So my other plant is any day now because my trichomes are starting to turn amber colored. And I'm thinking today or Wednesday. Tomorrow would probably be the latest tomorrow. I'll be ready to cut that down and let it start drying. But I got to cut all the leaves off of it.
Yeah, that takes a couple hours, right?
Yeah, but at least the weather's nice. At least for now. Kelly was just telling us about Halloween with 90 to 100% chance of rain from 6 to 8.
Yeah.
You said Alexandria changed theirs to tomorrow.
Alexandria, I guess the mayor put a post up that said, look, it's not going to be good weather Thursday, so instead of doing trick-or-treat Thursday, let's do it Wednesday. Now, there are literally about 500 residents of Alexandria, Ohio, so maybe a little easier to make that switch there.
Yeah, I get it.
But I love it. Taking care of the residents and the kids, so they're going to do it on Wednesday, tomorrow, from 6 to 7:30.
I was focused on that temperature. I knew it was going to be warm because it's going to be like 78 degrees. So it's not going to be cold. It's just going to be sideways rain because it's going to be very, very windy too, along with the rain. Mm-hmm. But I will still black out the garage and do my thing. I just, my big blow up zombie won't be able to handle it. So I can't put him out because he'll get taken away by the rain.
That's okay. It's kind of off theme anyway. It's like you're the mad scientist. You don't need the zombie. Yeah, he's just an extra added
thing. What does the zombie have to do with the scientist lab?
Nothing, but the zombie out in the front of the yard attracts kids from coming down our street rather than turn and the street before and not come at all.
Why not just a spooky sign that says visit the mad scientist lab?
Okay. Well, usually the music, you can hear the music from like a few houses away.
You could have a more cohesive theme going.
All right.
Just saying.
I don't mind the zombie. I feel like he's loose coming down real hard on that
really kind of am, aren't I?
I said it was off theme, so it's okay to not have it, but I do love the idea of the zombie.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be there. I suppose I shouldn't not hand out free samples of the Mexican haze.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
Now I really feel like you're trying to lure people.
Yeah, you
like
are.
it's a luring situation
Come to my house, I've
and
got
not a
free
trick or
pie.
treat.
I got zombie and weed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like a trap.
Almost feels like a desperation move.
It feels like I need to check your basement after trick or treat night for missing children.
Yeah.
I am going to be giving out free samples to friends. I'm going to be giving out some Christmas presents. 'Cause I'm telling you right now, guys, there is so much of it. I will never have to pay for weed again, ever.
Way to buy your friends.
Well, they're already my friends before I ever grew it.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Way to buy new friends. Why don't you just join a fraternity?
Well, if nothing else, Dad can always smoke weed with his daughter-in-law, as we found out today.
That's true. Absolutely.
And?
I mean, okay.
She's an adult.
I know she's an adult.
Come on over. Don't bring your own weed. I got
Does
plenty.
anybody else go just pair off Dad and daughter-in-law and just smoke some newly grown weed?
Yeah, you want to smoke up in the garage?
By all means, Blitz Nation, text in and answer Kelly's question
I'm
at
not saying a big
99-700.
group. I'm saying you're like, hey, daughter-in-law, let's smoke some weed.
Yeah. Feel like smoking? Hit that ball.
Yeah?
Hey, you do you. It's okay. Now set your zombie up, too, if you want to.
I will.
It's the Morning Blitz.
Coming up next, the 3 things you need to know.
Maybe you can fashion a sign that the zombie can hold that says free pot. Just ask.
But you must show ID.
Right.
It's for the parents.
Exactly.
Hey, my brother-in-law gives out Jell-O shots. Why not?
There you go.
Yeah, are you? I don't know. I guess you're allowed to do that, are you?
I don't know if you really are. Give
don't
out
know
Jell-O
either.
shots?
No,
Or
weed.
I
Are you
don't.
allowed to give it away? You can't give away a pound of it, but you can
Why?
give away like a little.
I mean,
little bit.
if Lewis comes over to my house, I'm allowed to give him a beer. So I would assume.
At
I
this
don't
point,
know.
a SWAT team and a drug enforcement group are going to come to your house because you're giving away free Jell-O shots and free weed.
I'm not doing Jell-O
shut
shots.
this place down.
I'm not doing Jell-O shots.
Well, you got a lot of friends popping up on text
Right?
here, Thick. A lot of friends.
Yeah, there's a sniper across it. Got an eye on the target. He's right behind the inflatable zombie.
It's legal now. Stop.
You want me to take the shot?
This is what we've been waiting for.
Oh gosh, I'm cracking up. Oh, you are getting defended too. Let's see here.
Right.
Somebody said they smoke weed with their father-in-law. Madison smokes weed with
There you
her
go.
father-in-law. Just the two of you? Do you?
It's cute.
Okay.
Saw that on the hub once, too.
Oh, my God.
All right.
And now, 3 things you need to know before you go.
Well, an expert at Ohio State University is warning Ohio homeowners of the coming bug invasion. As the weather gets colder, of course, some bugs try to get warmth of your home. So this time of year, homeowners will see an increase in brown stink bugs and lady beetles trying to get inside. Now, officials say the best way to keep them out is to seal any openings by replacing old caulking and ripped window screens, door sweeps, and unprotected vents. All right? So they're saying that. That sounds like an awful lot of work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So let me tell you what Gator says on TikTok.
Okay.
All right? Now, this wasn't for stink bugs in particular, but I've done it the last 2 years, and I have seen not a single stink bug
Really?
around my door.
Okay, how do I do this?
WD-40. It does not stain. It does not hurt the whatever like type of wood. We have brick,
Okay.
brick and wood. It doesn't stain. It doesn't hurt it. You spray it around your door and the bottom of the door.
Right,
it keeps every
the
bug
frame.
away.
Talking about
The
just
frame,
spray
the
the frame?
entire frame, and maybe a little outside of that as well, just
Okay.
to be sure. But it has
Oh,
kept
that's
every
easy.
single bug away from my door. Now, typically, I would say 2 years ago, we had a swarm of stink bugs trying to get in. Like I could not
Yeah.
come in and out of that door
Yeah.
without getting hit in the head by a stink bug.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know. Maybe he says it's just for bugs. He didn't say for stink bugs in particular, but I'm telling you, this is the second year I've done it, and I have not seen a stink bug around my door.
I am definitely
WD-40. All right?
What about what you call them, lady beetles? You're talking
Lady
about
beetles.
ladybugs, right?
Just the beetles that aren't really ladybugs. They're beetles, but people think they're ladybugs, but they're not.
Oh.
There's just a distinction. They look like ladybugs,
Oh,
but they're not.
okay.
They're beetles. Anyway, yeah, it just keeps all bugs, all spiders, everything away from your front door. Now, this, of course, when you go around where your vents are and all that, spray WD-40 and let me know if it works for you. It's working for me.
Oh, is that what he's saying, to do all that too?
No, he just said the front door. But I'm saying if you have a place where bugs are getting in, spray WD-40 around there.
I like it. That's
See if
easy.
it works.
That's real easy.
I don't know. It's cheap, too. It's better than having to go through all those home improvements.
Doug says if you blow weed at a stink bug, he'll become way more mellow.
Will he spend the winter outdoors? Because that's what I'm looking for. All right, a woman, this is brutal, guys, but since I've been turning stories brutal all morning, why not this time as well? A woman was killed at a Kansas airfield when she backed into a plane's running propeller while taking photos. 37-year-old Amanda Gallagher of Wichita died at a hospital after the accident at a privately owned airfield south of the city. There were groups of people skydiving. A big skydiving company uses that airfield to take off and land, and they take up skydivers, etc. So she's taking pictures. The skydiving company said in a statement that as a new group of jumpers was boarding, Amanda Gallagher moved in front of the wing, which is a violation of basic safety standards. So they love this. So this woman's been taking pictures there for a while, and they love her. They're all friends. So this is a huge tragedy for that company as well. But said this is a violation of basic safety standards. She had her camera up to shoot, and she stepped back ever so slightly into the spinning propeller. I don't want to imagine the scene, but I'm sure that was quite traumatic for everyone around. Well, let me tell you about this really eerie site in this southern village of Japan. It's called Ichinono. So many young people have left that area. There are only 60 residents right now, most of them past retirement age. They don't have any young people there. So to try to make everyone, I guess, feel less lonely, that was the goal. The older villages started using old clothes, old fabric, and old mannequins to stitch together a new population of life-size puppets. So many now that the human population is outnumbered by the puppet population. They've set up scenes outside, like they have this mannequin girl wearing a beanie hat, and she can be seen swaying a little gently on a wooden swing when the wind blows. She has a puppet friend there, a boy with a big smile standing on a scooter. There's another puppet girl in a red helmet seen sitting on a bike nearby. So they have these puppet scenes everywhere so that people walk through the streets of Ichinono and they don't feel lonely. Another wild part of this story, among the 60 residents is a younger couple. They are in their 30s. They had a baby 2 years ago. It's the first baby in that village in 2 decades. 2 decades.
Wow.
But I encourage you to look up pictures of this situation because they're very cool looking puppet mannequin things, but it's also really, really weird.
I always looked up Ichinono and there's a guy scratching his ass. That's an Ichinono.
I don't think it's the same place.
I don't either.
Yeah. Well, why don't you try Ichinono, Japan?
Okay.
All right. Those are your 3 things.
Have a good 3 days off.
Yes, we're going to miss Kelly. She's going to be out for the next 3 days. You'll be back Monday.
Yeah, be back Monday.
Because when you weren't here before, everybody's freaking out. Like,
I don't think that's true. I think you're just trying to make me feel good.
True.
No, they do. The voice of reason and balance is gone, and it's just the idiots. Anyway, all the best.
There's no one here to say, "Oh, come on."
No.
Is that what you're missing?
Pretty much.
Okay.